All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We were just taking some time making sure we got everything up and at it. So before this one, we can also end up getting a prediction on out there just in case anyone does end up want to go about guessing on this series. But we will have a series coming up between Amigos and Phantoms. With that one, we will start it a little bit pre-series. Amigos Phantoms. We'll start that prediction now. Has about 10 minutes for everyone. But we are going to be getting underway with some Tier 4 Division 5 3v3 action in Europe. If you want a list, we'll start off here because we have the time. Today we have forecast ahead of us, starting off right away. This one coming up now, and then we'll probably take some time offline. But then we will be coming back tonight for some US East and US West action, where we end up having it go with the 3v3 Europe to start us off. Right now, obviously, 2v2 on the East server, go to the West server for some 3v3 action, and then back to the East server for some 2v2 action. But that will be later tonight. Not the big focus of it right now. The big focus right now is Amigos versus Phantoms, which we have coming up. We do have it where these teams are already decided who the winner and loser will be playing. So the winner of this series will go on to the finals to take on the backboard testers, while the loser of this one does not find themselves done, at least at this point. At this point, they will find themselves in that third, fourth place matchup up against Damage, who is the 7 seed. Coming in this one, Phantoms found themselves with convincing round 1, 3-0ing their way through the 16 seed, finding their way into round 2, where they ended up in a tight series versus Seaside Frost, but able to prevail there and push themselves on to the semifinals. Amigos, on the other hand, coming into this one hot, sweeping both of their previous series. When you look at it, you can get it where here's what we have for the current setup of the teams. Amigos coming in this one about 3 goals per game, about 2 saves per game, and 2 assists per game. While on the other side, the Phantoms seem like they are quite the high-scoring extravaganza, as they put up 4 goals per game, still managed to find themselves with 3 saves per game, and just about 2.5 assists per game. So we'll definitely be in for quite the series when we get this one up and at it. That should be coming up at the top of the hour. Looking at the players, though, it does look like when we look at Amigos, George and Stavroko will probably be the main. Look like they tend to play more of the offensive role, while Kyriakos is typically their defensive asset, and he starts those plays with the passing. As we look over at Phantoms, it seems like they like to see out of Tusty and maybe Jivas on what they end up kicking up. I have ended up getting to talk with captains a lot before this. So apparently in last year, these teams ended up meeting up once or twice and had quite a competitive time then. So they are definitely looking forward to playing tonight, trying to get at it, see which team can end up pulling out on top. Should be in for a good series here today. We will be waiting on players, as I said. So we do currently have time, but as talked about, Phantoms should have probably dove into this more. Phantoms coming to this one as the 1 seed, 8-0, not dropping a series to this point. Amigos 7-1 have dropped the series, but once playoffs started up, the Phantoms swept the first round, and so did the Amigos. But in the second round, Phantoms found themselves with a bit more of a task, needing to go the whole 5 games to finalize that one, while Amigos ended up taking it in a sweep. Going into this game today, we have it though where it is a best of 7. Winner moves on to the championship, as talked about earlier, and then the loser gets to go to that 3rd, 4th place game. So both of these teams at least have one more to play after this one, but obviously they want to be on that winner's side. They want to be fighting for that championship next week. So we're going to see how this one kicks up once we get all players in the lobby, which, as I talked about earlier, it's top of the hour. Until we start getting players in lobby, I will probably leave it here, where that way everyone, if they want to do anything, can take their guess of how this one's going to play on out. But in Puff, at least put some channel points on it. Give it at least a 50. You guys both take your bets. I've seen upsets and everything throughout playoffs to this point, so I do not have a preferred favorite. Amigos coming in off 3-0. I cannot technically predict, but my prediction is that it definitely will end up being a series. We are seeing some channel points thrown on out off the get-go. We are seeing the channel points just end up rising. Looks like the Phantoms are finding themselves as the favorite, with 100 channel points on the Phantoms to kick this one off. Amigos hopping back up into this one, putting 100 and 200 onto Amigos now. So we'll have to see who will end up coming out on top, who will end out losing. Amigos jumping all the way up to 2,200 on the channel points. Well, Phantoms on the other side still casually jumping up themselves. $500 on Phantoms right now. Alrighty, so it looks like Pudding put his down on Amigos. And Hodge, does that mean you were taking Phantoms, or did you throw as well? The predictions are on out, and once we do end up getting this game underway, we will be able to tell how this is going to play out and who will be on the correct side of that. All in. So we have the Amigos versus the Phantoms. Hodge taking the Phantoms, Pudding Puff taking Amigos. We have this lobby coming up shortly. Should be within the next 5 minutes. Obviously, both teams trying to get warmed up, trying to make sure they come into this game feeling as confident as they can. I know for the color scheme on it, oh, we going all in. Pudding really letting it know. Pudding still has 3.7K left on that. Pudding at least match Hodge. Make it a 50-50. Match Hodge. Make it a 50-50. Who's going to be the right guess on it? If you can. Oh my. Amigos jumping up to that 5,900 with the Phantoms at 820. Pudding might be splitting his votes here, but hey, that's all for underway. So, as we definitely do look forward to this one, though, this should be a good one. For the teams, I know I have my typical background of the blue and orange highlighted. Actually, for teams, Pudding can even kind of say with this one. Instead, we're seeing kind of a light blue and white versus black and red. I did check it beforehand to make sure it doesn't look like colors should be a factor in terms of it. In my eyes, everything looks fine. Both teams agreed. We will be able to play this one out. And it should definitely be a spicy series coming on up. Ideally, we can end up finding ourselves. Honestly, if it goes the full 7, I'm hyped for it. I'm all here for it. I love it. And Pudding did go all in. Amigos at the 5,900 and Phantoms at 820. So Amigos pulling up the coins here early. Getting their early shots in, and the fan favorite coming this one off the double sweeps. They're taking the 4 seed on the upset for the chat. Pudding Puff is colorblind. Oh no, Pudding. That might not be great. Thank you for the follows, Crimson and Kiraku. As as we are getting ready to get this one underway shortly once all players are up in the lobby. Thank you, Stavroku. I'm trying to pronounce those. I have a bit of my own accent, so ideally I'm getting those relatively correct. But as we go, we do have those channel points out there right now. Amigos and Phantoms hyping it up, and that will end up closing out the channel. But for the most part, the fan favorite off the point is the 4 seed, where they want to see the upset today. Crimson is here, all for the Phantoms. Trying to make sure that there is no upset on that end. We will go here. Just make sure we have everything good. Just to ensure it, we'll do this. Alrighty, all good. I did send it out to the captain, so we should be able to get this one underway shortly. Just double checking, making sure that they have lobby info and no problems with joining anything. If there is, obviously reach back on out, and I will try to get everything fixed that I can. But we will give it a rundown one more time as we are closing in on this game starting. So real quick, just to go back through it, we have quite a bit of casting to do today, but this is at least a solo game early in the day, and I am all for it. Early in the day for me, obviously still late though in Europe. We have the Phantoms versus Amigos, and this one, the teams that they will end up coming up against next week are already predetermined. Whoever wins this game will end up going on to take on the 6th seed in the finals in backboard testers. And then the loser of this game ends up finding themselves taking on the 7th seed for the bronze medal, where they will be fighting for that 3rd place match if they end up losing this one. On the top side of the bracket, we have found it going relatively as expected, where the 1 and the 4th seed are the ones here. On the bottom side, the 2nd round, it ended up going in the way of the lower seeds. But that brings us here to this game right now as we are getting players to start joining the lobby. So I will be cautious on it. As soon as we get the 2nd team, I like to try to get these underway. That way the anxiety and stuff can just be left out on the field when it's there and we can be done with it. As talked about Amigos versus Phantoms, both these teams coming in this one where I'm going to guess we're going to see quite a bit of offense in this game today, as both these teams tending up to put over 3 goals per game, find themselves with 2 and 3 saves per game respectively, and around that 2 to 2.5 assists per game mark. So we will definitely be interested in seeing how this one plays on out. But as I said, we do at least start to have players in the lobby. So as soon as we do get that 2nd team up in here, we will be able to start this one. Alrighty, I will double check this. Good there. Alright, it seems like you guys are in, so Alrighty, everyone's in. Everyone's seeming like we're good. So we should be about ready to kick this one off. I say that, I don't know how many are Xbox and that, but if all players are good, I'm ready for you guys to start on joining. So, and yes, Crimson, thank you so much for joining the chat today. I know we are in for a great game between Amigos and Phantoms as soon as we can get this one all started. Alrighty, in Amigos, go. So for that one, Phantom's jumping in as well. Alright, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. 3 aside. We are ready to get this one underway. Phantoms versus Amigos kicking off this semifinal matchup. The 1 versus the 4. Right off kickoff, George and Pandora meeting up. Killer Cruz going at it. Tusty able to at least reach it there. George now finding himself with a 50 with Tusty and out this plays. Young Anise getting a touch on it. Kiraku pushes towards the center. Flicked on out. At least makes its way past Starvaku. Kiraku now playing for a center. Not quite able to get down to it, but drops it to George. Pandora able to push it on outwards. Back off this side wall. Playing on high. Tusty hitting it on forward. Kiraku is there. This one starts to fall. Pandora looking to push it on forward. As he does, gets back to it, drops it towards the center. Tusty firing and putting this one away on the pass from Pandora, giving the Phantoms that 1-0 lead. 42 seconds into this series. Phantoms do strike first. Back out we go. George and Younganese. Younganese taking that side ball. Kiraku is there and trying to play it on forward. Out it plays. Stavroko playing to the sidewall. Younganese up for this one. Trying to get back to it. Not quite able to do so. Play back across. Kiraku takes here. Met by Tusty. Tusty 50's on down. George sitting on it and able to grasp it. Younganese over the blue defense, but George looks like he is the first to get back to this one. Taking off that sidewall. Trying to take to the air now. At least he takes it off the air, but met by Pandora, but able to get back to it, and he tucks this one away, tying us back up at 1 apiece. 3 minutes and 42 seconds remaining. A good read on the defender's touch. He's able to land right into it. Whether it's an accident or not, it's still a good play. Ends up working out. 1-1 game. Amigos and Phantoms tied up. 3:42 left to play now. Back on down. This one goes. Stavroko playing on into the corner. Pandora tried to push over the blue attackers there. Passing on home for George. Tusty gets the next piece of that one. Tusty with a long shot off the crossbar back on out. Tusty not able to fire toward the net. Younganese now looking for the center. Stavroko not allowing him to do so. George playing on out, looking for Kirakus. Kirakus dropping back to George. George trying to start a dribble. Tusty comes in fast and intercepts that play. Stavroko out to Pandora off the back wall. Jumps up. George pushes this one on outwards. Tusty finding it, firing it, and will put this one away in the upper right-hand corner below the crossbar. Giving the Phantoms that 1-goal lead yet again. 3 minutes and 6 seconds remain now. Off that start line, Pandora and Stavroko meeting back on up. Tusty playing by 1, trying to get back to this one, but George able to blast this one far and up, off back wall, back on out. Kiraku's bounce shot over the defender and in. Amigos finding the tie back into this one. 2:56 remaining. .56 left now. Back to the center line. Younganese and George leading back up. Tusty flying and firing one, and he will get the better of this kickoff as it ends up dropping where Tusty gets the immediate shot and tucks it away, converting off that opportunity. Phantoms once again with that 1-goal lead. 2:53 left to play. Back to that center line. Pandora and Kirakus playing on. Stavroko trying to get a flick on it. Ends up getting bumped. Not quite able to get back there. Tusty plays this to the sidewall. George trying to advance it. George up looking for Kirakus, but Tusty able to get a good touch on it, push it back on outwards. George pushing this one back to the corner, making sure no immediate attack can be had for the Phantoms. George going to the air, pops over one oncoming attack for Kirakuz. Kirakuz trying to advance, but Tusky pushes this one back on down to the corner. Tusty playing on outwards, up for Pandora. Pandora looking for Tusty again. Tusty back up to the air. Limited boost, but will it fall? Good save by Kirakuz. Tusty up for it, just wide. Young and East now off this sidewall, looking for a center, looking for Pandora. Tries to drop it. Pandora fires, but Kirakuz equal to the task, making a great save, keeping this a 1-goal game. Out this one plays George. Pushes this on into the Phantoms corner. Young and East fighting this one on down, trying to get by. Stavropol pushes on out towards center. Tusty firing a shot. George, last line of defense, not quite able to get back. Phantoms find themselves with that 2-goal lead now. A minute 54 still remains. A lot of offense has been had. Still definitely a doable comeback for the Amigos. Only down 2, but it does come down to play needs to clean up and go their way. George off this back wall, up high it goes to Broko. That by Tusky as he plays this one on outwards. Kirakuz looking for Stavropol. Stavropol out to George. George, good pop. Looks like it might go in. Kirakuz will put this one away, ensuring that this one does go in. A good passing team effort there out of Amigos to find the back of the net. Minute 39 remains now. Phantoms find themselves up 1, but Amigos trying to find that comeback of 2 goals this time. Kirikou off that sidewall. Stavropol looking to push onwards. Stavropol trying to do so, but Tusty's there playing up for Yumanis. Tusty firing into the blue side corner. George trying to get there, but Pandora fires one, but George's touch wasn't enough. On out this goes. Kirikou tries to advance onwards, but Tusty is back and plays this one on outwards. George off that sidewall, finding it. Tusty tries to fire one, pushed wide by Stavropol. Back to George. George advancing onwards. Everything's playing into his own corner. Off that sidewall, Pandora taking on now. Pandora looking for the center. Kirikou not allowing that.
60 seconds.
Tusty off the sidewall. Tusty looking to find the center play here, looking for Younganies. Younganies ends up just high and wide. Pandora now, but Stavropol able to beat him to it and pushes on into the Phantom side. Tusty off that back wall to clear this one on out. A demo play to alleviate some pressure. Kirikou looking to try to find something off this sidewall. Not quite able to get back to it, but does find his way. He's bouncing past one. Back out it goes. George meeting Tusty, and this 150's all the way back on across. Kirikou's looking for a shot. Not finding it. Stavropol's now not finding that either. Tusty playing back into the Amigos corner. George trying to possess it here. Tusty at least forces the issue, pushes on further. Pandora now sitting on this one, throwing this one out across. George up for it. A good touch off the sidewall. Two hands back, and then the Phantoms half. Then it ends up jumping out back. Amigos find themselves needing one. Pandora trying to possess this one. Stavropol back on out and down. Push on outwards. Up this goes. Into the Amigos half. It will fall. Phantoms find themselves taking a hard-fought game one. We are supposed to be going to DFH Stadium with the night set for game 2. So we will get that one underway. Kirikou's asking for a moment here, so we will give it to him. No need to rush on it yet. All right. Bad server pudding puff. I'm hoping that that's not the case with everyone's pings constantly in the green right now. But you know, who knows? Maybe. Crimson saying the other two from Phantoms might be panicking. Alright, Phantoms getting back in this one. If you guys are all good. Alright. Everyone is good. Looks like we are finding ourselves into this one. It looks like the kickoff is not screwed up at all, so we will be good to go. Off this side wall, this one finds itself. Pandora advancing with an immediate shot. George not quite able to push that one on outwards. Phantoms finding themselves up one early off the good shot from that sidewall from Pandora. Pudding, I know you're kidding about the server. I don't know if everyone else does, but yeah. Back at it we go. Pandora and Kirikou meeting back up. George playing off this sidewall and outwards. Pandora finding it. Pandora sniping it just in that bottom left-hand corner. A good start of this game for him as he's been able to convert on both his shots. And he's finding his openings right now. Back to that center line. Phantoms find themselves up to only 13 seconds have been played. Pandora and Stevroko. Out this one goes. Younganese met by George. Dance downward. Tusky up for this. Not able to find it. Kiriku's not able to get there either. Stevroko looking for the center out to George. George met by Tusky. Up this plays and back on across. Younganese playing this one on out. Playing towards that center. George trying to play onwards. Tusky looking for Younganese. Younganese pushing this one on into the Amigos half. George playing off the sidewall. Pandora was able to get that first touch. George pushes it back on wide. Younganese firing a shot. Ends up finding his way back to the center. Tusky will tuck this one away. Starting well for Phantoms in game 2. 3 goals up. Not even played yet. Can Amigos find the answer? Off the kickoff, Kiriku's ends up getting dropped. Stevrokos trying to push forward. Tusky isn't there. Younganese pushing this one onwards. Kirikou off the back wall. Tries to play on out, but Tusky's there for it. George trying to play it on upwards. Younganese will just play that one across. Pandora looking to take possession now. George coming in, trying to fire a shot at his own, but Tusky able to push that one back and outwards. Tusky getting back to that, firing it, but Kiriku's back in time. Kiriku's popping over one. Really good play from Kiriku's, and it will find its way to the ball. Kirikou with a great dribble on that one, popping it over one, getting that last second needed touch to pop it over the second defender as well. Amigos pulling themselves back to within 2 now. 3 minutes and about 30 seconds remain. About 3.5. Off this kickoff, George and Younganese. This one going to that back corner. Kirikou is looking to try to get a touch on it, but it will end up falling. Tusky playing that corner. George playing it up for Stevrokos. Younganese playing back to the corner. George popping this one, firing a shot, pushed high and well away by Younganese. Back on out this goes. George back in the corner. Kirikou is trying to play on outwards, not able to do so. Stevrokos now back to the corner. Tusky trying to clear it on out. Demo opens it on upwards. Pandora playing back. Kiriku's off that sidewall. Kiriku's up. Advancing on back into the Phantom's corner. Looking for one more. Stevrokos trying to fire a shot. Not finding it. George across. Good touch to beat the last defender as he was forced to come at him. As the bumping play was looking like it was going on in front. But George with a good near side flick able to just beat the defender. Amigos pulling their way back into this game pretty well as they find themselves only trailing by 1 now with 2 minutes and 48 seconds remaining. Up this one pops. Younganese playing this across, looking for Tusky. Tusky now trying to take to it, take into the air, gets a good touch on it, but George able to reach it. Up this one plays. Pandora cuts it on off back to the blue side half. Stevrokos not finding his way around this one. Tusky now firing a shot. George not able to reach it, and that one's barred down. Is it going to find its way in? Eventually, Younganese will push it on inward after the initial boom by Tusky. It will find its way rattling that crossbar in the ground a couple times, but Younganese is the next one to find it to tuck that away. Phantoms getting that 2-goal lead back. 2 minutes, 24 seconds remain now. Back to that center line. Stevrokos and Pandora. Up this pops. Tusky up for it. Firing. Finds his way just wide. George now trying to come over. Stevrokos taking a touch across. leaving it for Kiraku, it looks like. Kiraku is back off that sidewall, but Youngany is intercepting there. George back to the sidewall. Pandora firing one to the far pipe, and Kiraku's not allowing that to continue. Tusty met by Kiraku's 50s back towards that net, but Youngany does well to push it away. Stefroko is firing a shot towards that far pipe. Tusty able to push it on outwards. Finds its way back. Stefroko's pushing it back into that Phantom's corner. Pandora trying to take up a dribble there, passing it on to Youngany's. George popping this one on high. So up this play is Kiraku's. Back into the Phantom's corner and outwards, but Tusty will possess it there and try to start up an attack of his own. Stefroko is pushing this one away, not allowing it to prevent any more problem. Pandora trying to send her for Youngany as George able to get in the way in time. Stefroko playing on out. Tusty is there and he will find the opening. Phantoms getting that 3-goal lead back yet again. 1:20 remaining. A hard-fought task for Amigos if they're going to find their way back into this one. Still definitely doable. Pandora pushing off towards the center. Stefroko is there. Youngany's going low, but Kiraku's is there, pushing it on outwards. Pandora firing a shot, find its way into the net. Phantoms putting themselves up for 1:12 remaining. Ends up going just past one, and the defender ends up backflipping there instead of the double jump, finding its way into the net for that. Back to that center line. Kiraku is beating Youngany's. Off to that side wall. Tusty advancing onwards. George pinching this one across high and away. Youngany's now trying for the center. George getting back to it, flipping it on over, not letting it fall in front. Trying to play on outwards. Stefroko is taken to the dribble now. Met by Youngany's back into the blue side corner. Youngany's looking for the center, trying to find Tusty. Tusty up for it, gets a piece of it, but off that far pipe. Pandora, though, able to follow up on it, putting it away, finding the Phantoms a 5-goal lead with 42 seconds left. That probably about clinches game 2 at this point, unless a kickoff tragedy starts to befall the Phantoms. Back to that center line, George and Youngany's. Out this one pops. Stefroko is trying to get around it, met by Pandora, and Tusty will play forward. Tusty demoed by Stefroko's to stop that attack any further. Youngany's playing off to that sidewalk. Kiraku's playing out towards the center. Youngany's there. George able to get a touch on it. Back down. It falls. Stefroko's pushing this one away. 4 goals within 21 seconds still. Not looking very likely, but at least something to show that this is still going to be a series going forward. Amigos are not losing their fight yet. Back at that center line, George and Tusty. This pops on up. Kiraku off that sidewalk. Popping on high. George looking up for it, but Tusty able to win that race, and down it falls. Tusty looking to wrap his way around this one, trying to play it across. Youngany is not quite able to get there. Stefroko's playing on outwards, but Tusty beats it. Tusty popping towards the center yet again, but George pushing this one on outwards. Youngany is firing a shot. Kiraku's playing on upwards. Kiraku's tries to flick it, but it will end up hitting the ground. Phantoms taking game 2 there. Back to Champions Field we will go. I don't know if you know it, Crimson, but why did they want DFX for a second game? Just to ask it as a question, because generally I feel like there's some meaning to it, but yeah. They wanted that field specifically for game 2. I generally just go Champions Field every match, but they asked for that one specifically for game 2, so I did give it to them. Oh, fair enough. If they have a reason, they have a reason. If they don't, that was one of just the odd requests that I had that I'm like, huh? I was fine with it, but Yeah, fair enough. Even if it is, we can have that be the case. Alrighty, all 7 are in this one, so if they are ready to get this underway, all players joining on up. Yes, they are. So we will kick off this one. I guess I clicked the wrong button because I would probably like those next to each other for Phantoms. But there we are. On out this play, Stavroko's not quite finding it on that one, but this one falls to Kirikou. Kirikou's off that sidewall now, trying to take a dribble towards the Phantom net. Pass 1. Husky playing on outwards there. Husky playing on down across. Pandora looking to get a touch on it. Does spike it back across, but George able to put it on outwards. Younganese off that sidewall. Out this one plays Pandora off the sidewall back into the Amigos corner. Kirikou's trying to play on outwards. Pandora ends up meeting it. A couple of bumps later, this one does fall back out towards center. Tusty waiting to find it in front of his net to ensure that nothing can be made of it. Stavroko's trying to center it. Pandora not allowing him to do so. Kirikou's off that corner, trying to find the center, looking for George, not quite able to get there. Stavroko's out for Kirikou's. Pandora not allowing that to find its way. Younganese playing this one on across. George off that sidewall, gets past one, but Tusky trying to take a dribble here. Good bump play to not allow him any further. Stavroko's clears it on out of there. Stavroko's trying to fire a shot across. Pandora able to make the save. Out of the corner, this one's taken. Tusky pushing onwards. George on out across for Stavroko's. Stavroko's trying to find it. Pops it, shot just high off crossbar. George able to be there and tucks it away. Amigos end up finding a 1-0 lead here in Game 3. Back to that center line we go. 3:31 remains in Game 3. Stavroko's popping this one on high. Tusky up for it off that sidewall, doubling it up, right back down for Younganese. But Kirikou's was not to be undone. Off the sidewalk, Kirikou's now firing it on out. Pandora touching on it, putting it back to his corner. Kirikou's intercepting. Pandora playing on out, but this one falls towards the center. And this is a unfortunate bit of events. No one on Amigos was able to find it, but down this one plays Pandora, firing one. And a good last second hit to keep it on wide. Kirikou's now off the sidewall, off the back wall, on out. George, good touch, but not enough to get it towards the net. Younganese back, met by George, and out towards the center goes. Pandora will clear there. Younganese trying to find a dribble, but Kirikou's able to meet it. Tusty playing on downward. George is there and firing it on. Pandora met by George. Younganese now off the sidewall, looking to get back to this one. He does, but interrupted by Kirikou's. Off the sidewall for Stavroko's. George bringing the dribble up. Met by Pandora as this one pinches hard on out in front of the Phantom's net, but Tusky able to find clearance. George off the sidewalk. Once again, with the pinch off the defender. Finds himself falling towards the center. Stavroko's not able to find it. Kirikou's met by the oncoming Phantom's defense. This one plays on out, hops on high, up it goes. George able to push it on to the side. Stavroko's with the clear. Younganese not finding his way onto that one, and Kirikou's back across, firing across the net, but Pandora is there for this one. Clearing it on outwards. George meeting Pandora. Tusty firing, but Stavroko's all over that one, opening up an attack potential. But Pandora is the next one to corral that, bring it back into the Amigos half. Out of the Amigos half, off this sidewalk. Tusky advances past one. Stavroko's at least does well to clear it back on outwards. This one on high cross. Phantom's trying to get there, but George will instead push this on into the Phantom's corner. Tusky playing on out. George able to find it, fires, but Pandora is still home. Kirikou's off that sidewall, finding it back to the center. Stavroko's not able to get around it. Kirikou's is now off the pipe, out to George. George fires. Tusky is equal to the task to keep this a 1-goal game. Tusky now trying to find a dribble play. George not allowing him to do so. Off this back wall, Kirikou's trying to get this way to Younganese, firing. George is up and able to push this one on wide. Kirikou's in this corner. Stavroko's in Pandora as well. This comes on out. Tusky fires it just wide. As it goes, George picking up the boost. Young and he's trying to find the ball. Not able to do so. George fires it forward. Pandora gets a piece of it. Tusky up. Tusky firing. George, great save to keep their lead. Off this sidewalk. Tusky once again trying to find the center. Stavroco is not allowing that to fall. Younganese now back into that corner. Younganese trying to find it, but George able to beat him to it, push this one on outward. George pops past the defender, finds his way to the opening, and that one will fall into Phantom's net. Amigos finding themselves up 2 with 10 seconds remaining. Unless there's a bit of kickoff tragedy, this is probably Amigos finding a bounce back into this series and pulling it back 2-1. Here we go to that kickoff line. Younganese and Kyrgyz. Tusty up for this one. Plays it on down. Pandora dribbles it on out. This one pops on high. Up it goes. Kyrgyz off that back wall. Will fall. Amigos fighting game 3. There will be no sweep in this one. We are finding ourselves in a series. It is a 2-1. Amigos looking to try to take this next game as well, even this series back on up. Phantoms trying to put themselves on match point. As that is all 7, we will go to spectate. And into this one, all the players are joining. There we are, 3 aside. Should be good to get game 4 underway. Phantoms up 2-1. Amigos finding that game 3 to bounce a little bit back into this series. Can they continue that momentum? Stavroko's in on out. Tusky able to grab some possession there, but George fires this one back on upfield. Pandora clearing this one on outwards. As this one does end up falling down into the Amigos half. Tusky off that sidewall, backing out. Pandora up for it. Dropping it back to the center where George now fires into that Phantom's half. Stavroco is trying to push this one onwards. George playing across. Off the sidewall. A demo play to be had there. And trying to open some stuff up. Younganese off this sidewall down to Tusty. Tusty ends up faking the defender. George taking in the sidewall, pushing it on towards the center, trying to get back to it, not able to do so. Pandora out to Tusty. Tusty looking to take a dribble play. Tusty not able to get around the defense there. Pandora looking for the next touch, back into the corner. Kyrgyz playing this one on outwards. Tusty off the back wall. Up for it. Younganese not quite able to convert. And this one will be pinched between the defense and back on out. George now trying to start the attack. George trying for the flick. A good one! And he ends up getting to put this away. A good read on that one as he took his time with it in the corner, got around it well, and found that flick to the far pipe. And then Pandora trying to get back in time, but unfortunately unable to do so. So Amigos find themselves up 1. 3 minutes and 48 seconds remain. This one falls back on down. Pandora trying to fire a shot. And Stavroco able to keep this one. But Kyrgyz good last second touch to ensure that they keep that 1 goal lead. Kyrgyz playing on out. This one does end up falling, and an unfortunate fall as it ends up redirected in a way that it looked like the defense just was not ready for. So Kyrgyz will get goal credit, but that just was an unfortunate redirect situation. Amigos find themselves with a little bit of luck getting that second goal. Off the sidewall. Back it comes to the center. Pandora pushing onwards. George a touch. George pushing past Pandora. Younganese able to push this one on upwards, looking for the center play. Jericho's off the side wall. Tusty finding it, looking for a dribble play. Tusty pops to the air, pass one. Stavroko's not allowing that to continue. Stavroko's firing a shot off the pipe and across on out, not finding its way into the net. Younganies playing onwards. Jericho plays it on and down. Tusty popping by one back towards the center. George playing back towards that side wall and across. Jericho tries to play this one. This one ends up falling. Stavroko's popping it on further into the Phantoms half. Tusty playing on outwards. Tusty trying to get back to it, net by George off that side wall. Syracuse on out. Younganies firing. George tries to save it, not quite able to find it, and that one will be a goal for Phantoms. Responding, and now find themselves only down one with 2:32 remaining. Back to that center line we go. Tusty and George. This one pops on upwards. Jericho's off that back wall, back on out. Stavroko's not able to put this one away. Tusty up for it, pushing it onwards. George getting Tusty. This one falls down towards the center. Stavroko's trying to fire. Younganies get those push this one on high. Tusty playing on outwards. Stavroko's. Younganies popping a shot off this one, but George is back and ready to deal with it. Off his back wall, up this, find his way to the center. Tusty fires one just wide. Younganies popping the center for Pandora. Pandora not able to find the shot that's needed. Back in the Phantoms corner, Tusty popping this one on high. Kibuku is trying to fire the shot, but Younganies gets behind that one and plays clearance up. Stavroko's is able to cut in front of it and clear it back into the Phantoms half. Pandora plays by one, tries 50 with the second, and across this one shoots. Looking to try to find a play on it and fires. Syracuse is back and ready to deal with that one efficiently. Back on out this pops. This one is jumping. Pandora able to grasp it in time. Out this one goes. Syracuse looking for the center. George plays back into that Phantoms corner. Or the Phantoms corner. Younganies off the side wall, trying to start up with a dribble play, but unable to continue on with it. Stavroko's popped the play out of Pandora. Tusty trying to take a dribble now, met by Syracuse. Up this pop. They try to drop it, ends up not, hits the crossbar. George Younganies able to keep that one on outwards, keeping us at a one-goal game. Stavroko's trying to find it, not able to do so. This one falling and flailing in front, but not quite able to get past that Phantoms defense. Up this plays George off that back wall, trying to find the center touch. Does, but Tusty able to push it on outwards. Off the side wall, Phantoms still finding themselves needing one. The onslaught from Amigos will not stop. Tusty playing on out. Is it in? No. Pipe and out. Not quite finding anything. Syracuse taken by Tusty. Tusty trying to play outwards. George taking it back to that side wall, trying for the pin. He's able to at least push it forward. Stavroko's now, though, firing it high off the Phantoms back wall and down. Tusty taking it to the side. Phantoms keeps this up and find a goal relatively quick. They want to find this game. George off that side wall. Will it fall? It will. Tied back up at 2 apiece. As we get about ready to go for game 5. Now it literally is just a best of 5. Well, actually, it's a best of 3. First one to take 2 of the next 3. My mistake on that. Best of 3. Next one to take the 2 games first will find themselves taking this one. Amigos and Phantoms playing close games all the way throughout. Our Pandora and Younganies able to get in this one. Younganies maybe finding some ping issues. So, no, maybe not. I might have just been seeing it high off when he joined. Off the kickoff right away, Pandora finding his way onto that one. Syracuse pushing it towards the corner. Pandora looking for the center. Up for Younganese and Tusty. Tusty able to put away the pass. Pandora. Phantoms getting on the board relatively early in this one. A good pass on out from Pandora, and Tusty able to tuck this one just underneath the crossbar, beating the defense. George and Tusty getting back up that center line into the Phantoms corner. This one falls. Pandora off that sidewall. Stavroco is trying to play on out. Pandora plays to the corner instead. George off that sidewall. Tusty firing it, and he will convert, finding the back of the net, noticing the defense in the corner and upfield. Had the chance to fire this one, and with that fire puts it dead center and puts it away. Phantoms up to 25 seconds having been played. Pandora and Stavroko's off the kickoff. Up this pops. Younganese taking to the sidewall. Out this comes Tusty. Firing, but Syracuse is there. Stavroko's pushing on into the Phantoms corner. Off the Phantoms sidewall. Younganese met by Stavroko's. Stavroko's looking for George. George off the back wall. He seems to get back to it. Not quite. Stavroko's playing back across, but just wide. Pandora trying to start something here. Pass one. George cutting in there off back. George able to reach. Tusty now trying to go toward the net. Up he finds it, trying to get back to it. Not able to do so. This one falls. Younganese now trying to tuck this one away. Off the pipe and across. Is Pandora able to get to that one? Not quite able to put it away as Syracuse with a great last second save. Stavroko's and George popping this one on up. Syracuse good touch on a cross to alleviate some of that pressure that was constantly building. Tusty now taking to the air yet again, looking for it off the back wall, trying to drop for Pandora, but Syracuse intercepts there. Pandora popping this one on out. Younganese trying to dive in, but cleared away by the blue defense. Tusty back to that corner. Tusty trying to start something. Able to at least touch past one. Pandora off that back wall. Syracuse popping it on across. Younganese trying to drop it center. Tusty is already there. George pops this on up, falling in front. Who gets to it? Ends up falling just wide of the net. George trying to advance this one onwards. Popped over one, but a bump play then to complete this. George trying to play off sidewall now back for his team. Ends up needing to come around this. Tusty advancing onwards. Stavroco is popping this up. Pandora able to be the next one to touch it, but George firing this upfield with Tusty able to intercept. George pushing on wide. Syracuse taking the touch. Does go past one. Good touch to beat the second one. Falls down, but Pandora wins the race for it. And a bump play as it does end up falling all the way across. George looking for something over this corner. Right corner, George firing towards the center. Stavroco beats Tusty. Off it goes, pops on outwards, back up. Pandora taking to that sidewall yet again. Syracuse off the back wall, trying to find the center. Younganese and fans will pass, but now Stavroco is looking to find a center play to open up this game for Amigos a little bit. Syracuse met by Tusty, and he pushes this one on out. Tusty popping on high, finding his way back to it. Fires, but it ends up going wide. George takes this on across and pushes on outwards. Syracuse off that sidewall up. George looking to get on it. Fires one. Ends up just wide off the pipe. Who's able to get to it next? Stavroko's is, but Tusty with a great save to clear that one on out of there. Younganese starting a dribble play met by Syracuse. Back into the Amigos corner. George looking to take here. George off that sidewall, but intercepted by Pandora. Up for Younganese. Younganese not able to find it. Falls on wide. Syracuse trying to start a dribble play. Not finding it. Tusty bringing it in. Stavroko's and Syracuse pushing this one on out of there. Stavroko's loose, but just found that 100 pad. Looking for a demo play in front, trying to open up some defense. George trying to advance outwards. Younganese is there and plays back into the Amigos corner. Amigos able himself to find two with about a minute 15 remaining. Stavroco is now off the sidewall, not able to find it. Syracuse popping on outwards. Tusty and George beating up into the air there. Pops back into the Phantoms corner. Younganese trying to find it. Up it goes. Pandora ends up getting a soft touch. It's enough for Younganese to take possession on out. Younganese trying to find something. Syracuse bumps him there. George and Pandora meeting up now. Back down. This one falls. The Amigos needing to find something. Kiraku's out of the corner. Kiraku's looking for one more. Then it's a pop towards the center. George trying to fire one, but Pandora is there. Even as Stavropoulos fires it again, but just wide. Kiraku's looking to center again. Out to Stavropoulos. Stavropoulos leaves it for George. George fires it and off the far pipe again. Off that back wall from Kiraku's. Demoed by Pandora for the process. Tusty tried to play on out, but George was up. This one plays back. Kiraku's back towards that Phantom's corner. Off that sidewall, looking for the out. George was met by Tusty as he plays on out. This is looking like Phantoms are going to find their bounce back game as well. They themselves game lead in this series yet again. Out of the Amigos corner, Tusty now. Off the back wall, looking for the double. Not quite able to put it away. Does it end up falling? Doesn't make much difference, but can we find a last second goal? No, it falls there. Phantoms with the response. Find themselves taking the lead on match point. Phantoms just need to win one of the next two. Amigos need to win both of them. Shot at the championship on the line. As here we go. Game 6 coming up. Phantoms looking to try to close this on out. Amigos looking to make that last 2-game run that they're going to need to make in order to put themselves in the championship. As it does not seem either team has been able to fully swing that momentum in this series. Both team finding their looks, finding their moments. Early in the series, Phantoms striking first, Amigos jumping on back, but Phantoms finding the way to take the momentum back in this one. Now, can the Amigos do the same, or will the Phantoms close on out this series? Here we go into Game 6. Tusty is being built kind of different today, but then again, you never know with how this goes. Everyone can have their moments in a series like this. Pandora saved by Kiraku's. Off that sidewall and out this one goes. Younganies off that sidewall. Pandora not able to get there, but Kiraku's shot is just wide. Tusty taking it low, now trying to find it high. Tusty trying to get this one towards the center. As it falls, George pushing this one on outwards. George looking for something now, firing past one, but Tusty is back. Playing on out, Stavropoulos now. And it falls again, Tusty pushing it on wide, but Kiraku's is next to it. Center for George. George converting a great pass out of Kiraku's as he ends up finding George dead center, opening him up with a great opportunity on the defender, and he tucks it away. Amigos up 1 here in Game 6. 4:24 still remaining. George and Pandora. This one plays into the corner. Looking for the dribble play. Flicks on. Younganies will keep this in that corner. Tusty now off that sidewall, playing for the center. Stavropoulos doesn't get a touch on it. Pandora off the far pipe, not quite in. Stavropoulos now trying to take a play on it. Ends up leaving it for George. Tusty beats him there. Up this one pops. Tusty trying to get something on it, but Kiraku's good save, pushing it on outwards. Pandora advancing onwards. Stavropoulos off the sidewall. Stavropoulos is popped on upwards. George up for it, making sure he pushes this one on away. Tusty now off that sidewall yet again, and this one is looking like Younganies fires a shot, but Kiraku's is there. Oh, this goes Tusty. Firing it far off the back wall. Looks like it should hit down. Tusty almost able to find it. Not quite so, but Younganies fires and George able to kick this one on out. Pandora is back though, make sure he does not find anything. Pandora playing off. Stavropoulos looking for a center. Gets bent by Younganies, and Pandora robs around this one. Tries to start up an attack his own. Fires, but George is back in that time. Tusty now with a great shot, but Kiraku's able to push it on wide. Pandora off this sidewall, back on out. Pandora putting it towards the center, ends up falling across. Who's able to get to it next? George is able to at least push that one on outwards. Up this falls. Pandora getting at least a piece of it, popping on up, buying his team some time to get back. But Stavropoulos looking like he should be next to it, fires it just wide. Pandora looking to try to lead this for Tusty. Tusty firing upfield. Kiraku's back to that center line. Younganies playing towards the center, doesn't they will be putting any pressure on that one. Stavropoulos trying to play it on out. George able to get that next touch past Tusky as he tries to bring on into the half. Younganese pinching this one off that wall and outwards. Stavropoulos. Tusty is there. Tusty firing off back wall. Is someone able to find it? Ends up pushed just wide by Stavropoulos. Good play by him. Not allowing the oncoming attackers to get to that one. Kirikou now playing off the back wall. Back on out. Stavropoulos. Pandora. Great read on it. Tusty now playing this one back on down. Trying to find the attack. Ends up with a missed flick. Kirikou shot. Pandora still back, making the save to keep his team in this one. Stavropoulos pushing onwards, but Younganese not allowing an attack to develop. Younganese looking for the center play. Does end up kind of getting one. Tusty, fast one. George able to push it on outwards. This one's falling. Pandora back out of that corner, trying for the center. All the way across. Stavropoulos pushes this one on out. George pushing it on forward. Out of the opposing corner. Younganese not allowing that play to continue. Tries to pop back towards the center. George intercepting there, trying to find the center of his own, but it looks like Tusky will be able to find and start the dribble on this one. George leaving it down the center. Stavropoulos playing back for George, but met by Pandora. This one goes back into the far side corner. Stavropoulos popping, trying to flick past one. Tusky there, but Kirikou is also able to get a touch on it. Stavropoulos up, but Pandora able to find this one and push it on wide. Kirikou's firing a shot. Younganese keeping this one on wide. Tusky off that sidewall, trying to start up another dribble play. Back across he goes. Kirikou's there sitting on it. Back into this Phantoms corner. Younganese jumping, but not finding it. Stavropoulos with the center, but Pandora now finding it, starting up a dribble of his own. George, good touch to alleviate the pressure in a 1-on-3. Pandora now once again playing on outwards. Kirikou's met by Pandora, back across it shoots. Stavropoulos over one. Stavropoulos trying to take his play now, but Tusky fires it. It looks like that might be a shot off the crossbar, down and out. Pandora up for it, but Kirikou's able to find that clear. Younganese back off the sidewall. George trying to push this one onwards. Tusky firing it off that back wall yet again. As it falls down, Stavropoulos pushes it on wide now. Kirikou's met by Tusky and back on out and across. Younganese trying to get this one back towards the center. Phantoms needing one for this game. Stavropoulos is able to play low and out. It looks like Amigos might be pushing us all the way to anyone's match point. We are looking here. We go Pandora pushing this on out. Will Phantoms be able to find something to make it where overtime is needed to finish out game 6? Not quite able to do so. We are going the distance in this series. The whole 7 is needed. An absolutely insane series, back and forth all throughout. If they told you it was going to come down to a best of 1, what if you believed them? Because that is now what we have here. All games played before this, well, they matter on terms of the points to get here. It all comes down to this one. The pressure is on the players, as this will determine whether or not you're fighting for a championship or for 3rd place. Match point. This is one where the player's tension can truly get to them. Any mistake, any flawless moment, where heroes and failures get described in match 7s. And obviously it's not a bad thing for failures, it's just the moments of not being able to perform in the clutch. Younganese might be finding himself with some ping issue, but no, it does shoot back on down every time once we get towards that game. Pandora off that sidewall, looking to fire this one towards the center. Up this goes Pandora, trying to find his way back to it, but instead George pushing it back on across. Younganese looking for the center, out to Pandora. Pandora met by George off that sidewall yet again. Younganese off the sidewall on outwards. Tusky not quite able to get there, push onwards. Pandora wrapping around this and playing on out. George taking it out of his own side corner. Flicking past one, but Tusky should be the next to find this one off the back wall. Back on out, Pandora ends up getting 50. Back into the Phantoms half. Younganese looking for it. Looking to start something. Stavropoulos staying low and finding that ball, but Pandora able to push it on outwards. Stavropoulos off that sidewall. Tusky playing on outwards. George popping a shot. Younganese able to clear this one back on out. Stavropoulos now looking to try to find a center, but Tusky not allowing that one to be the one to the center. As it stays in the corner, Younganese now. popping it on out. Kiraku's met by Stavropoulos. Pandora. Tusty now off the back wall, trying to find it. Looking for a doozy, but Kiraku's not allowing that to be it. Younganese dropping it back down towards the center. George over one. Now a race between George and Tusty. George with the shot, but Tusty is back in time. Stavropoulos is the next one to get it, and Amigos finds themselves up a goal. A little bit less than a minute 30 played in this one. Still 3 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. Phantoms now finding themselves needing one to at least extend their life in terms of fighting for the championship. Amigos hoping to build off that or at least keep it. Tusty back on now. Younganese popping it just on high. Tusty past one, trying to play onwards. Stavropoulos is able to beat him with a 50. Pandora firing a shot. George able to get a touch, but dropping back down. Pandora tries to fire across, but it is possessed by the Amigos defense. A pinch on out. George able to at least get a touch back off to the sidewall and back away. Younganese now off that sidewalk here, who's playing on outwards. This one falls. Pandora firing a shot. Stavropoulos able to make that goal line save now. Younganese back off to the side. Out of the side. George and Kiraku's with this one plays on out to the center. Tusty trying to pop it on upwards. Stavropoulos not to be undone there. Younganese off this sidewall, back down. Pandora finding himself with it. Flick past one. Is able to find the second. No, Stavropoulos not allowing that past him. Tusty dropping it back down towards the center. Kiraku's trying to fire a shot. Pandora back in time. Stavropoulos firing across, but Younganese will take possession there. Younganese looking for the dribble play, not quite able to get it past out of the corner. This one now plays Tusty up for it. Tusty off the back wall, back on out. Who's going to find it? Kiraku's met by Pandora, back on out off that back wall. This one goes. Pandora looking to get there, not quite finding it. Stavropoulos with the back pass to Kiraku's. Not a great clearance though, as it wasn't met. Stavropoulos finally able to find that clearance. 2 minutes remaining now. Phantoms still finding themselves needing one. Tusty playing to that sidewall. Tusty starting up a dribble play here of his own. Looking for it. Bounce. Quick flick past one. Not able to find the demo. Kiraku's able to push that one on outwards. Pandora is the next one to it. Younganese now with the pinch on out towards the center. But this looks like it should be Stavropoulos to start. Stavropoulos pushing it on back into that Phantoms corner. Out of the Phantoms corner. George firing a shot. Pandora able to keep this one on out. Stavropoulos looking for the center now. Younganese looking to try to take off that sidewall, but Stavropoulos is there. Younganese with a bump play to try to open up something for Tusty. Tusty trying to find it. Kiraku's not allowing that. Pandora back out to this sidewall. Pandora trying to push it on. Ends up pushing past two. What happens here? Stavropoulos taking it on high and across. Pandora and Younganese trying to get this back to the center. Not quite able to do so. George flicking this one on outwards. Tusty tries to grasp around it. Kiraku's pops this one on high and out. Younganese not able to get there, but Pandora did. George able to clearance. Tusty up for this one. Tusty trying to find something, dropping it back down for Pandora, but Stavropoulos able to at least push this one back on outwards. 50 seconds remains now. Kiraku's firing a good shot, but a good defense to keep this one within one. George off that sidewall. Younganese popping it on out. Tusty trying to find the dribble, but George able to at least interrupt him there. George playing back to the corner where Tusty at least finds a piece of it, but this does fall towards the center. Tusty playing back on across. Pandora off that sidewall, up it goes. This one falls. Tusty now starting an air dribble, trying to push this one on. It does end up falling towards that center. Pandora, are you able to get it? Yes, you are! Tied back up, one apiece. 14 seconds remaining. Anyone's game. You have to think this next goal is going to be what describes it, whether it be kickoff, whether it be anything. Amigos and Phantoms fighting tooth and nail. Who is going to that championship? Here we go. Back down. It plays Tusty firing on outwards. Stavropoulos off the back wall trying to find something as it ends up falling. Kiraku's pushes this on out. Tusty and Pandora trying to find something. Younganese towards the net. As this one pops on high up. Anyone able to get to it? As this one Kiraku's clears on out. Overtime is needed. Next goal wins it all. Tusty, George meeting up the center line. Pandora and Stavropoulos pushing this one back across. Younganese trying to start a dribble, firing towards the net. Kiraku's with the clear. Tusty back off that back wall. George Advancing onwards, Kiriku's trying to get a pop, not finding it. This one will just fall in the Phantom's corner. As George trying to find that center play now, but Pandora not allowing it to do so. Instead of Rocco keeping it in that corner, but Tusty now trying to push it on out. Past one, but Kiriku's is the next to it. Back off that sidewall, but Younganies not allowing this to be cleared so easily. Amigos, George popping this one on up, but Younganies looking like he is still there. Putting it towards the center, Kiriku's will play this one on out. Younganies back off that high wall. George pushing this one onward. Pandora finds himself in the corner, playing on outward, but George, one touch. Who's next? Tusty, able to at least get the clearance. Tusty off the sidewall, trying to find this one. Tusty going low. Younganies and Kiriku's 50, and this one still finds itself around that midline. Pandora off the sidewall now. Instead of Rocco is finding himself in possession, but Pandora able to get there, but not quite on that. Kiriku's make sure he clears. Tusty falling back for Rocco's. This one plays on out. Tusty trying to get around this. Flipped by one up for Younganies. Younganies pushing this on outwards, but Kiriku's now intercepting, pinching with the wall, trying to find it towards the center. Pandora not allowing it to fall. Tusty met by Rocco's. Oh, this one plays. Looks like it should be George's next. George popping over to Pandora, but what will he be able to continue onwards? Tusty off that sidewall, trying to take possession of his own. 50s with Kiriku's all the way back on across. Limited boost though. Pandora being the one to find it next. Pandora going firing forward. Younganies with a redirect, but it ends up going off that corner. Tusty is all the way back. Tusty 50s with George all the way back on across. Rocco is finding another 50 down towards the center. Younganies and Kiriku's. Rocco is trying to look for it, but not quite able to find it. Kiriku's playing on back into his own side corner. George looking to take here. George off that sidewall. Tusty advancing onwards. Tusty not quite able to follow. Kiriku's takes this one on upwards. Younganies now popping on high. Up for Tusty. Tusty off that back wall. Younganies not quite able to get there. George taking this one on out over Pandora, but it finds its way wide. Who's it winning the way through this one now? George dropping it towards the center. Pandora, Tusty, and it finds the crossbar, not quite in. Tusty clears it on out. George trying to keep the offensive pressure, but Younganies now firing this one up the field, and it ends up in that corner. Kirikou back on out. Younganies firing one, but George able to get around it. Fires a shot off the crossbar. Kirikou's just wide, not quite in. We're still playing George off that back wall. Tusky trying to clear. Rocco's not allowing him to do so. Pandora tries to play on downward. Tusky with it here. On out plays. Pandora tries to get past Kirikou's. At least plays to the corner from George. Back on out, Younganies trying to find a pass, but not able to do so. George, a demo on Pandora, now trying to push towards the center, but Tusky not allowing it. Back on out, Tusky met by Rocco's. Across it goes to George. Younganies tries to fire forward, pushing onwards into the Amigos corner. Now Tusky, a bump play, but off the pipe. As this one ends up going on by George with a demo play. Who's finding themselves on this one? George off that sidewall, trying to drop something here. Not able to find it. Tusky back onto that corner. Tusky playing on out and across. Kirikou's not finding it, and it finds its way into the net. Phantoms will take this series on that one, as Phantoms do close it on out. An unfortunate read there, as it just doesn't find it, but Phantoms are able to close it on out in a very hard-fought series between Amigos and Phantoms, as it does go the whole distance. GG's to you both. An insane series on the day. Amigos almost pulling it all. That was intense as can be. My goodness. Good luck to both teams next week. Phantoms, good luck on your championship game. Amigos, good luck fighting for that third. After this one, it's definitely something where you got to be thinking both those teams going to next week, and it is something. We are going to do that right now, where the Phantoms are the ones that did take the series. Complete that prediction. I don't know who got what for the payout, but that is that. That was an amazing series from you all. So thank you all so much for coming on out. I will be live again later, but right now we'll just pull this on up. As we'll do this first. As we can see here, the Phantoms do end up taking the series, and then Phantoms will move on to the championship up against Backboard Testers. And then from that, we have where Amigos unfortunately do fall in that overtime, and they do find themselves playing up against Domage for third place. Kahoot should be on that next stream, Pudding. You are correct, because we will be doing a little bit of that, but I don't think a lot of people from this one will probably make it there, as this is a European one, and we have a lot of late time if any of the Europeans would end up being at that one. But following this one on up, we did just see the Phantoms be able to close it on out in Game 7 in an absolutely insane series. So moving on from there, later tonight we will see it where we will start off at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will have the St. Louis 50 Kings taking on Continental for a shot at the ship yet again. All of these games, obviously the semifinals, seeing where teams will end up placing on out from here, what they will end up having happen. So the 2v2 U.S. East Tier 2 Division 2 50 Kings versus Continental will be the first one. Then following that up, although it is 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, we have it where it's some 3v3 U.S. West action, Tier 4 Division 6. No Mercy versus LMU JV Blue. And then we will wrap up the night. Please leave the mod up. Please, the lads want to watch it back. They should be able to watch it on back. So it will be something that they will be fine to watch it on there. And then even if it is, I do end up posting to the YouTube. Right now it is a little bit delayed as it was kind of holidays for me and do a lot of busy stuff with work in that. But I will be getting back on to getting all of those back on the YouTube relatively shortly. But yeah, we do have more Rocket League coming at you tonight. But this is where we will close it on out. You guys can then just, on my channel, go look back at it. You guys can watch this one on back there as soon as I close it on up. This will be the recent one, and you guys can see how this ended up playing out for you guys. See what you guys want to see there. Thank you all so much. As I said, great series, absolutely insane, back and forth, just each team fighting tooth and nail the whole time. Unfortunately, there's always got to be that loser. So, as we said there, amigos, you will be fighting for that third place next week. But obviously, give it your all there, and ideally, you do want that third place. So, thank you guys. Have a good one, and doses.